Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dice Tower Q&A, and here we are, just talking about whatever. Let's put. It looks a little better there to have a guy in the background. So this is the show where I answer questions and we talk about things. I'm certainly interested and willing to talk about Dice Tower stuff if you're interested in asking questions about the behind the scenes and things like that with Dice Tower, because our Kickstarter launches in a week, and I like to get people's minds on that because we really depend on you to go through each year as we go here to 2021. Someone asked me how my morning's been. Fantastic. Thank you. This is a busy week for me. I'm working really hard here at the beginning of the week because the latter half of the week I am going to my daughter's wedding. So yeah, it's a new day for being me. Happy New Year to all of you. That's true. This is the first Q&A of 2021. All right, let's just jump this in here. Why no more component drop? That's a very okay. Anyway, well, I didn't say it's gone forever, but I am calculating out the amount of time we spend on the component drop, and it's just tremendous. Not just for the people who sort it out, which is my kids. People are like, oh, Tom's kids went to college. Well, Melody went 3 years ago. Amy went last year. I still have many children left. In fact, I'm more doing it than ever before. But just the amount of time, the problems that were coming up. We'd be done playing a game, and I would say, just throw it back in a box. I'm going to do a component drop. And then I would play it again the next day, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, never mind. Sort it all back out. We'd play it, and then throw it back in. The component drop is great for a lot of reasons. One, I heartily enjoy the reaction people get to it. People think it damages components. It doesn't. Two, it's unique. Only I did it. Three, it shows you all the pieces of the game. Well, I could do three. And so I'm messing with the panoramic, zoom pan thing. We'll see. Maybe I'll do something else. But I want to work on improving the quality of the Dice Tower reviews. I really do. And saving some time on the component drops. And it's not a small amount of time. It's a lot of time. Would help me do better videos. I'm not doing it so we can do more videos. I want to do better videos. Alrighty, let's see. Sorry, going through here. Let's see here. Any chance Testing Tuesday comes back when things get back to normal? I really like the raw reactions of playing the game for the first time. It might, and we might do that again, but we found that those shows did okay, and I know that some people like them, but we've been doing other live shows with regular basis, and so we have crowd surfing now, which we're doing every week, and that has turned into other than our top 10s, our most popular show. And then we've been doing other live gaming and stuff, and so it might come back at some point, but I'm pretty happy with where we are with other things. I get the whole raw reaction type thing, and you might see some of that in the future, but it's also better, I think, if we know at least some of the rules ahead of time. How do you remember so many rules? I don't. Do you need to refresh yourself when playing an older game? Very often, yes. I mean, I don't know. I don't have to refresh on how to play the game per se. Especially if it's a game I really like. I'll be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. But if it's a game that I like a lot, but I haven't played it in a long time, I might just walk through the steps in the rule book. Although, I'll tell you, it's one of those, usually I'll start going over and oh yeah, I remember how this game works. You need that kickstart to get there. What are you most excited about coming from the Dice Tower this year? Well, I'm excited to see us expand on what we did last year. I believe that we upped our game in 2020. I think as the year went by, we got better and better at different things. We've learned how to live stream with some success. I think the Summer Spectacular went well, but I think the Winter Spectacular went exceedingly well. I thought our live awards were really well done. I get that, that the not in-person top 10s don't have that same zing as an in-person top 10 does, but I feel like we're learning how to do those better. I'm excited that we're going to work real hard on our intros and outros and just graphics and things to try to make everything better overall. What game is your favorite way to resolve combat or encounters? I don't know off the top of my head. I did a top 10 list on this one time, so I will probably do that again in the future. Will you review Sumatra by Reiner Knizia? It hung on our wall for a while and then disappeared. Yeah, it's right over there, actually. Eventually. I haven't played it yet. Just some games get to the table and sometimes they don't. Sad to lose corner-to-corner component drop. But don't worry. If you look at the Dice Tower, so the way the Dice Tower works is I'm constantly thinking of new ideas and doing new things. And I got a couple of those new things, and I'm gonna talk about them here in just a second. But I also want to do new things. Sometimes older things have to go away. Not in a bad thing. Like, again, Corner was a really good show. But I wanted to focus on some other things, and I only have so much time. So let me tell you about two new things. They're both stretch goals for this coming year, but I'm assuming we'll hit them. Hoping, anyway. So two new shows that I want to do. One is we're going to do a publisher overviews. So I've been thinking about this for a while. Doing a top 10 of a publisher, which I've done a few years ago. I did my top 10 of different publishers. I believe that was 2018. Because 2019 I did designers, something like that. I went through each publisher, did my top 10 games. That's pretty easy to do. But if we did it jointly, unless it's a major publisher like Fantasy Flight Games or something, or Asmodee or whatever, it's hard to have it be three different lists. So we're going to do like a spotlight on a publisher where we talk about a publisher, and then we talk about some of those games and why they're good, in our opinion, maybe bad, depends, and a little bit about that. And so I think that would be like a focus spot on a specific publisher. Secondly, Tim Metvier, who does Meepleville, probably the best interviewer on the internet, and he also runs Dice Tower West. He's going to be doing a series with us where he'll take an older game from his collection, because he has the Dice Tower West library. He'll play that game, and then review it with me or with Z, and we'll go back and forth, me remembering having played it a while ago and my thoughts on it, or maybe I played it recently, maybe. Tim having just played it for the first time, and get those two views on it. But by the way, if you have a good name for that show, let us know. Curious if there'll be a new large card sleeves in the Kickstarter. There will not be. Or extras available from last year's Kickstarter. There will be. Those were not very popular at all. I wish they were more popular. I wish I could show them to people. I think they're a great idea. I'm using several myself to sleeve everything. I'm sleeving Dixit and things like Mysterium and other games together, and then you just have one big deck that you can use for all the games. Is that guy in the background Bob? Oh, no. This is from Tintin. One of my favorite comics. And he's missing a hand for whatever reason. But he also has a nice hat. So, there, yeah. Yep. Question, how did the component drop came about? Well, really simple. I bought a new video camera to do Dice Tower videos, and I noticed that it had a slow motion feature. And I thought, well, that would be interesting to see the pieces of the game tumbling around. Wasn't a very good slow motion feature, and honestly, it never has been that good. It's always bugged me some. There's really good slow motion videos on the internet, but those require a really expensive camera, and I never could bite the bullet enough to buy a camera just for component drops. Can you tease us about any aspect of the upcoming Kickstarter? Yeah, I'll tell you an announcement that I was going to make later today anyway. But the Dice Tower is going to have, some people already know this, but the Dice Tower is going to have our own deck of werewolf cards starring werewolf monsters, dice werewolves. like that are done in the same art style of all of our stuff. This werewolf deck will be enough that you could play a werewolf by itself, but the backs of it are being made from Bezier Games. It's made by Bezier, so you'll be able, it's going to say Ultimate Werewolf on the back, and you'll be able to mix and match it with other stuff from Ultimate Werewolf. I'm very excited about these, so I hope that you enjoyed them. Did I hear Disney Plus working on a series based on Willow the movie? I did hear that. Have you decided on a format for the top 100? We're working on that. It's going to start in January. We'll let you know the format soon. Glad you bought The Crew. Are there many other card games? Just look up our top 10 card games. There's a lot of them. I'm glad you enjoy it. How did I end up beating Joe on the first turn and risk 22-10? I do not remember. I just know I completely wiped him off the map. Realize that this is almost 20 years ago now. It's ages. It's so weird. I would never do that to anybody. I can't believe I did it to him. I should review Thingavalier, the expansion of Nidavellir. Well, I agree. I don't have it yet. Maybe instead of drop, you set up partially the game and do a time lapse. That's almost more work than the component drop. Can we expect any guest top 10s before the top 100? No, the top 100 will probably happen first. I never played Fortune and Glory. I was warned off it by several people who told me the downtime was immense. Now, that may, and also the art, I don't like that fake photograph art that they have on their thing. I've heard the same thing from pretty much everyone, even people who like it. They're like, it's good, but it has a really, really, really bad downtime. Everybody has told me that. It's also an older game, so while I might have enjoyed it, downtime is just a big no-no for me in games if possible. How do you think the quality of the Dice Tower reviews can be improved? Well, I'm working on that. I mean, I think the intro and outro could be improved. I think overall, just better camera work, better lighting. We've worked on lighting. I don't know. It's things that we do sometimes that people don't notice, but we've really worked on lighting in this particular studio. Because we used to get a lot of complaints about lighting, and so we worked on it, but we're working on the lighting even more. And there are lots of different tasks, lots of different things that I need Roy to do. He's just overwhelmed with my amount of videos I put out. So bringing on a new video reviewer to help Roy with that allows Roy to do all kinds of cool things. You saw the Winter Spectacular. I hope you liked the way that was structured and looked. That's all Roy putting that together. If he had more time, we could do more stuff like that. Can we have a big party when Kickstarter ends? Yeah, I plan to do that again. I do not look 44. Well, thank you. I don't really care. I told my wife, that of all, they sell so much hair dye. I've never understood that. I don't think there's anything wrong with gray hair. I'm speaking from the perspective of a man. But I never understood why that was a big deal. So you gray, what does it matter? Just like I don't care if I would go bald. Who cares if you're bald? But because I don't care about being bald or getting gray hair, neither one is happening to me anytime soon. So go figure. A review of Gods Love Dinosaurs is scheduled, but it's a few weeks away still. Oh, I don't have Cloud Age. I did not get it. I would like to get it, but it just hasn't come yet. I do not know where the air horn is. Is it easier to do these live shows or to pre-record the content and post? It is about the same amount of work. We switched to doing more live because it's more fun to do it live, and it's fun for people to watch it live. It's not a huge audience that's live, but I mean, we do have 328 people here right now because it's live. You can just watch it later. And in the top 10s, it just gives it an energy. We found that our best top 10s have always been at conventions because the energy we get from people who are there. And so being live just gives us a little bit more energy. When I'm a little down and can't find the energy to play a game, I watch one of your videos. Your enthusiasm about games always gets me to the table. Where do you go for the energy if needed? You mean like where do I go to get excited about board games? I think I just read about them, maybe. There's a lot of people excited about board games. Roy's always very excited about games here in the studio, and Kenny and Mike. I mean, we're always, working with people who are excited about board games tends to keep you excited about them. When is Look Back coming back? You mean when will back be back? The Look Back? Wednesday. It's already recorded and edited. What is your least favorite element of running a YouTube channel business? Oh, well, it's very different. Okay, so a business, the financial part. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I also hate the Kickstarter in a sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love that you all support us, but so much effort. I can't tell you how much time I've spent over the past few months, not only finishing off the last Kickstarter, and that was very unfortunate because of COVID and everything else, that it was so delayed and then ran into the preparation for this one. But it seems like I put so much time into that when I would rather be reviewing games. I'd rather be doing that than putting together a Kickstarter. I get excited about the stuff in the Kickstarter, but it just, that's a frustrating process. And then just money in general, taxes and payroll and all that stuff. I don't really enjoy that part of it. The YouTube channel itself, I love all that. I mean, occasionally things will flare up, and I just wish people could be civil to one another and not, if you don't like something someone said, maybe just move on to the next post. And, but these are minor things. I love everything else. Was there any game this year that did something never done in board games before? Possibly, but I would have to sit there and look at innovative things. I'm sure it has been, but I would have to think about it for a while. Nothing that jumps out. When your kids were younger, how did you deal with game playing apathy? Well, I don't know that actually the younger kids are the more excited they are about playing games. The biggest problem that you have with younger kids is simply they don't like to lose. And you have to deal with poor sports. Also, you're dealing with lack of paying attention, that sort of thing. But that's easy enough. Like you're playing this game and you don't got any option, kids. Just like anything else. There's no TV on or whatever. Apathy seems to come when they become teenagers. At that point, I will make them play a game once in a while, but not very often. Why make people do things they don't like? I'm very fortunate that my oldest daughter, Melody, liked playing games a lot. And Amy doesn't like to play games at all. Maybe party games once in a while. That's it. My third daughter, Holly, she takes or leaves them. She'll play them sometimes, she'll not play them. She played Rise of Queensdale with us this whole year, and I was playing Clank Legacy. And if I say, hey, come play this game with us, she will, but she also will not. It doesn't matter. Ruby and Violet really like playing games. I say, do you want to play a game? They're there. And Claire and Jimmy just watch us play the games. Jimmy's very thoughtful but about them and thinks about them, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. How do I randomize the rolls in the werewolf sessions? So when I run my werewolf games online, I pick a certain number of people who can play them. So my number's 24, mostly because it makes a nice 5x5 grid on the screen. And 24 just seems to work really well as a number. So before to end, I'll write out 1 through 24. And then I will randomize it. I usually I'll roll a die or something, or do a random number generator on the internet. And I'll write the rolls next to the numbers. And then when people show up, the first person to show up, I write their name down at number 1, number 2. So the stuff's already randomized. The order they show up, that's just who they happen to be. And you can't even read anything into it. You're like, ooh, if I show up first? No, it doesn't matter. I've already randomized it. Occasionally, I might randomly do it after people show up, but it's almost always beforehand. I do that just to save time. What do you think were the highest and lowest points for 2020 for the Dice Tower? Well, highest point was Winter Spectacular, I think. The highest 2 points were Winter Spectacular and Dice Tower West, because Dice Tower West was amazing. So was the cruise, but the West was the con for me. The lowest points, I guess, were everything else, right? I mean, we struggled with a lot of different things this year. We had a lot of different things go on with problems, and things don't work, and this doesn't work, and We had a truly low point, but I don't really want to be super public about that. And don't even try to speculate. It's not that the thing. But I mean, the internal stuff happens and stuff with, or things behind the scenes, not internal. That sounds like we're fighting behind the scenes. We're not. The high point is how unified we are as a group here. But yeah, it's been 20. I feel bad talking about it because 2020, I guess canceling my conventions. There's a lot of horrible things that happened in 2020, but I can't compare them with horrible things that happen to other people. Of course, honestly, you could just go through life like that. No matter what bad things happen, you can be like, well, worse things happen to somebody else. You know, and then you could feel better about your life, I suppose. I did not stop running werewolf games, by the way. I paused briefly because of the Kickstarter and my daughter getting married. Thank you for all the people who subscribe. It's very nice of you. Are you planning to ever shoot videos out on the porch again? You know, I don't think so. It was a really fun thing when we did it, but the porch has not, once when Hurricane Irma came through, it kind of beat up on the porch for one thing, and beat up on the stuff behind us. There's a little bit of construction there, so it's not as pretty also. Right now, our porch is filled with pallets that we've been using for things, and the cats live there. So it would be, and then it was just getting all the wires to go outside and set things up, bend the string. It was pretty, and it was something unique that we were able to do. It's also not air conditioned out there, so that's a struggle for people who hate the heat, and I don't hate the heat, and even I was hot on some of them. So it was fun, but I think that was a once and done thing. A lot of people were asking me about particular games. I'll get to them as soon as I can get to them. Many different games I just have. I mean, I have and haven't or will, and you know, just they're coming. Is Chris Yee giving up the glamorous life of a Vegas accountant and moving to Florida? Is he going to be a remote editor? Chris is moving here, actually, this month, so we're looking forward to that. Yes, Rococo will be reviewed eventually. Where can we vote for the People's Choice Top 100? I can never find a site. Dicetower.com. So I'll just go there right now. Dicetower.com. And when you go to Dicetower.com, you go to Board Game Top 10 and 100. And then down at the bottom, oh, you're right. It's not there to vote anymore. Well, I will get that fixed. That's why you can't find it. Huh. All right. There are so many board game reviewers on YouTube today. Do you think that the number will drop in the future, that people try it out but give up when they fail to attract subscribers? Oh, for sure. There are lots of people who try things. Part of it is 2020. A lot of people were at home. So why not start a YouTube channel? There's more people watching. So people are starting it up. I am constantly talking to new folks when they talk to me. And some people just can't handle a lack of instant success. I tell people, people are like, yeah, you're so lucky. I am very lucky. But also, this is our 19th year of reviewing games. We've been doing it for a long time. I did not get many views at the very beginning, but even when I started YouTube, I had already been writing reviews for years. I started in 2008, was it, for video? And I've been writing since 2002. So, I just worked really, really hard at it. And yes, I was lucky. There's a lot of good things. I'm not going to argue that. But I think a lot of people, they're like, why am I not getting thousands of views? Well, because there's lots of competition and it's hard. And you have to work and hustle and build up your audience. So, yeah, I think a lot of people start and go away. A lot of people, it's a passion thing, and passions fade as time goes by. Now, some people who start up will succeed and go far. And so there's that too. So I'm not saying every new person is an upstart. No, it's the same as success anywhere else. Some people are going to start and succeed and some people aren't. Who are they going to be? I don't know. We'll find out as time goes by. Do you have a favorite tie or hat? Yes, and it's neither of these. Actually, I don't know if I like this hat. It's a little too flat, I suppose. But it's that I'm wearing. This tie, meeples. Yeah, meeples, whatever. Yeah, there's not been a werewolf video in a while, but that's because of Christmas, New Year's, wedding, Kickstarter. I will do them. It just was a lower priority for me. But there's lots of werewolf games being played. I'm just not moderating them. Have I watched Peter Pan Goes Wrong or the Goes Wrong, the Nativity? I saw the Nativity, which was really funny. I love the Goes Wrong show. It's my favorite TV show, I think, period. And, you know, my two oldest daughters came home from college, and I was like, you will watch this. It's funny. Although that's always dangerous to tell someone something's funny beforehand. But, man, I love it. I just watched the whole season again. Then we watched Nativity. I've not watched Peter Pan yet, but I'll try to get around to that. Who's the best rules explainer that you know? Well, I know several, okay? Obviously, Rodney Smith is good, even in person. Rainer from NSCAN Games, or Board and Dice, sorry, not NSCAN anymore, from Board and Dice. He's really good at teaching games. Mike Fitzgerald is really good at teaching games. And again, if I'm not saying your name, either I forgot you or I think you're fine. I'm just talking about the people that I think are amazing at teaching games. Doesn't happen to me a ton anyway. I'm usually the one teaching the game for better or for worse. Those would be the top three, I think, that I've played a game and had to teach me a game. Tom, do you plan on doing something similar that you did with the TI4 Play commentary? It would be interesting to see it done on a semi-regular basis with different games. Now, I thought about this, and you may actually see this at some point. So this is something, we might even make this a stretch goal to do that a few times over the course of the year. There's a lot involved with it, and a lot of games are not long enough for it to matter. Right, but it's something I'm thinking about for sure. What are the differences between the Dice Tower plastic containers and the Stonemaier ones? One has the Dice Tower logo on it, the other has Stonemaier. That's really the difference. Also, I got color ones made this year too. Just caught up with the episodes in Dice Tower history. Really enjoyed it. Any plans to update it? No, I might add a video over the last few years. We'll see. Who gets to put together the miniatures for Aliens and Another Glorious Day in the Core? Well, Roy said he would, and I told Roy I don't care if he does or not because I don't care when I get to the game. It just frustrates me. That's, on a personal level, I just found that to be very meh. We talked about this last week. I'm not going to get into it again. Oh, the Skytopia cover looks good. Yeah, I agreed. It's made from Cosmodrome. They're the same ones who made Aquatica and Smartphone. Let's see here. Again, I apologize. I'm not answering every question. I just answer the ones I find to be interesting to talk about and stuff. If one wanted to send you a present in the mail, how would one go about doing that? One would email me, and I will give you my address if that's a thing. Any hints to guess top 10s? I only have one prepared. I mean, you're going to see different people, and I have people who want to come back and do them again with us and things like that. So I'm not worried about that. I have actually some interesting ideas with top 10s. But I do have one person lined up as a stretch goal, which I think it might surprise you a little at least. So that's interesting. You'll find that out next Tuesday. As a graphic designer, I'd love to see the Dice Tower talk more about the aesthetics of board games. It would be cool to delve into the art and graphic design of games as a series. Maybe some artist guests. Yeah, it would probably need to be someone who's not me. I just sit there and go, I like this. This looks cool. Beautiful art. But then, whatever. Tom is wrong about Soul. I'm wrong because I said I liked it. Soul's up there with Coco is one of the best movies of Pixar. Well, that's fine. I don't think that, I'm not saying it's, I didn't say it was bad by any means. I said 7 out of 10. This is okay, someone ties me up. This has been driving me crazy. It is unbelievable to me how on the Dice Tower, a show where we do not hesitate to say games are bad. If I don't like a game, I'll say it's garbage. I hate it and dislike it. I got games sitting over there that I hate, and I'll be telling you I hate them. So when I say a game is good, a 7 out of 10, but not great, people act like we hate it. You know, we turned it into a joke to some degree, but it's mind-boggling to me. You know, like I said that the Oceania expansion for Wingspan was good, but not great for me. Oh my word! I must have shot some birds. I feel like, or something. That's one of the things that always is mind-boggling. Like this comment here is like the epitome of that. I said that it was a good movie for me, so I enjoyed a lot of it, but it wasn't great. Well, I'm wrong. Okay, I guess. So if I'm wrong, then it's not good. Yeah, but no, I jest somewhat. I know that you just really like the movie, and that's fine. But it mind boggles me with games all the time. If you don't love a game, you hate it. There is nuance. Let's see here. Everyone's talking about, has editing technology become easier in the last 5 years? Maybe. I mean, they're constantly making tools and things to make things easier. And then we up the ante so we make it harder on ourselves. I mean, I look at my first YouTube videos, I used the webcam here on a laptop and recorded them and held pieces up, and they were in 240. Speaking of that, let me ask you all a question. Do you think, maybe now, do you think 4K matters for YouTube? And do you foresee it mattering? And I've been wondering about this. For a while, we did 720, and we got, go do 1080. We moved to 1080. But it was a big deal because the video files were much bigger to do 1080. That means they take longer to render. It makes it take longer to upload, etc. And then now the next jump from 1080 is to 4K. And you can upload 4K videos to YouTube. You can also record in 4K. I have cameras that are capable of recording in 4K. We have computers that are capable of editing 4K. If we did edit and upload and all that, huge amounts of space, and the things will look crisper for sure because it would be in 4K. But I don't know that it matters. It might matter. You might say, oh, when you look at a game, it'd be so much easier to see in 4K. For sure. But since a good majority of our audience seems to watch on a small computer screen or a phone, does 4K matter? Or do you think it will matter? I mean, obviously for a big screen TV, 4K is amazing. 8K, whatever we're up to. I'm just not so sure. Now, I'll tell you one use of 4K that's fascinating and very handy. We do use 4K for our above camera. Now, why do we do that? Because that way we can zoom and it's still in decent quality. If you take 1080 and you zoom, it's not as in a good quality. So that's one of the benefits of 4K. Let's see. People are all talking about air horns. Roy sounds like a superhero. How did you first meet? I met him. He was a regular on one of our shows, our Throat Punch Launch, I believe. And I would watch, or maybe it was Z's show. I don't remember who it was, but they called me and be like, hey, look at this guy. He's really bouncing the whole time. And I was like, oh, yeah, look at that. He's so excited about games. And I just got to know Roy. One of the things is Roy came and was a contributor at a convention. And this is hands down, you want to impress me when you work at a convention, just do an amazing job, because both Roy and Mike DeLisio both impressed the socks off me with how hard and involved they worked at conventions. So when later on they went to work for the Dice Tower, I knew them very well, and it was easy to talk to them about that. What did you do with New Year's Eve? What were you doing New Year's? The quietest New Year's of my life for me, really. We ate sushi and snacks, and we watched a movie. What did we watch? We watched something together as a family. Was it Soul? It might have been Soul. And then we shut off fireworks. Some fireworks, not a lot. And then we just went back in the house and people did stuff. I played video games for a while. Then when it got to midnight, we watched the Times Square thing, which was really boring. I would rather have watched nothing. And went outside. It's amazing here, folks, in Florida. New Year's is fantastic. We walk outside at midnight, and you just look around you. Nice, warm air, not hot, just warm. It's New Year's. I kissed my wife, and all around us, fireworks were exploding. Like, for real. Because when I kiss my wife, it's always like fireworks are exploding. But for real, fireworks, just every house in the world, it seems, is shooting off fireworks. It's free. You just watch them, and they're just shooting off all over the place. And it's a marvelous feeling. We're like, happy 2021. And then we all went to bed. Well, it took a while for people to wind down. But we had a good time. Just me and my family. Which is the first time in 20 years that I've done that. Will you do any behind-the-scene type videos? Aha, we will. It's one of our stretch goals for the Kickstarter. Tom, you have a fantastic head of hair for 44. Why do you hide under hats? Because, folks, it is not fantastic. It's a lot of hair, but I have 2 colics right here. You don't see them right now. They stick up like devil horns, which might mean something. Also, it's not that fantastic. For sure. Live is better. I love it when you react to the contributors on breakfast. Well, I've enjoyed that too. You know, don't get me wrong, not everything's going to be live. Although we've been talking about the idea of live reviews. Is that something people would be interested in? Let me know. How do you keep kids excited about board games? I play fun ones with them. I know it seems silly, but I play games. If the kids don't like a board game, I'm like, all right, then that one's not for them. But we play a lot of fun ones together. The Murph brothers reviewed all games in their collection in one 3-hour sitting. Do you plan to do the same? I don't. I guess a better question would be, could I do that? Could I review all the board games in the Dice Tower library in one sitting? Almost 2,000 games. Even if I talked about it for just 30 seconds, that's 1,000 minutes. Oh, so no. I wonder if, since board games are your life, if you ever need a break from them, or if you still play them for fun while taking breaks from the show. Yes and yes. I take breaks and do other stuff. Can you quickly rank your top 3 tea games? I can. What's up with tasty minstrel games? Any concerns? I don't know, actually. We were just talking about that this morning. Has anyone heard from them at all in any place, in any way? We have not for a while. It doesn't mean anything bad has happened, but we have not heard from them. What's my favorite kind of meeple or board game component? Dice, baby. Actually, I'm really, really coming around. I'm really liking screen-printed wooden pieces. I think they're fantastic. And I love when they're in games. Because wooden is just fun to play, wooden pieces. But when they're screen-printed, they just look better. Where and how should I post a video for a unique new game table that would spark virtual discussion and interest? You get the different reviewers to take a look at it, I suppose, but it would have to be pretty impressive to be new and unique because there is a lot of game table companies out there right now. Could you ever see a legacy game with an edible component? No, and I would not play one with an edible component. That sounds like a bad idea. See one-upmanship. Do you find playing board games educational for kids? Yes, of course. So, group was over 50-year-old guys that get together and play in Dallas, and I don't know how many times heard the term, well, Vasel approved it, so it has to be good. Oh, don't use that. I'll get in trouble because one of these times I'll prove it and then it won't be good. Did you or Mike try Wingspan Oceania solo? I did not. I don't think Mike has, but maybe he will. My brother lives in the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale, which I think is in your general area. Is there any cool local board game bars or stores I should visit now? There's a Venture game store. I don't want to make sure I get the name right. Adventure. It's it's just called Adventure Game Store in Dragon's Lair. That's what it's called. Adventure Game Store in Dragon's Lair. That's in Davie, which is close to Fort Lauderdale. And then there's a cool stuff in Hollywood, also next to Fort Lauderdale. Those would be the only two I know about, actually. So that's what I would recommend. Are board games better than video games? You know, I know people are like, yes, says everybody. Depends. I mean, I like them more than video games, but video games can do things board games can't. I mean, a video game can give me this immersive 3D world, which is fantastic. But board games give me a social experience. And yeah, there's video games that give you social experience, and there's board games that are fantastic and fun. I don't know, they're just different things to me. Do I like board games better? Yes. Do I like video games? Sure. How many kids do I have? At home right now? 5. Well, 6. My daughter's home from college. But soon to back to 5. How many total have I had? Many. I have 7 living children. 6 girls and 1 boy. How is Phoenix Rising going for you? I've read reviews which haven't been great, but since hearing your thoughts, I've been considering getting it. I don't know what people are talking about. This is my favorite video game I played in the last several years. I like it that much. I was playing it yesterday. I play it a lot, a ton. I am going to beat the game, which doesn't happen often with many video games, and I'm doing tons of optional stuff. I've beaten all the optional bosses right now. And now I'm just doing the main quest. I always tend to put off main quests for a while and then go do optional stuff. But now there's 4 main quests, well, that I know of. I think they'll lead to the final main quest. So I've completed 2 of those, and the other 2, I just need to do the last parts of them. But yeah, it's really fun. And then I always get caught up in some optional stuff too, so then I end up doing that. But yeah, I really love it. Yeah, some of the reviews aren't great, but there's a lot of good reviews out there too. Believe me, I read lots of reviews before I buy a video game because I don't know enough about video games. Like, I know my board games. I don't know anything about video games, so I definitely read lots of reviews. And I would say the vast majority of reviews for Phoenix have been positive. So, what do I think about the surge of solo gaming? Well, I'll be talking a little bit about this week. I'll talk about my top 10 games I played solo in 2020. Would you ever appear on a major non-gaming channel as a guest if they did a segment on board gaming? Probably I would. How many businesses recruit more people to live in Homestead than the Dice Tower? Probably quite a few. I believe Amazon's building a warehouse down here soon. They'll beat us all. There's the racetrack here in Homestead. There's other things down here too. I don't actually know all the local businesses. What's the criteria to become one of your contributors on Board Game Breakfast? It's to email me, send me a audition type segment, and then we go from there. That's what the criteria is. Why have I never heard you guys review Wizard, the trick-taking game? Well, I know Z's talked about it. I don't believe I played Wizard itself, I don't think. Z has, though, and we've talked about it on our trick-taking show before. What do you think about the digital versions of game boards? You mean like those big digital screens that are becoming a game board? I mean, when it finally works right, I think it'll be amazing and fantastic. I'm just waiting to see when that is. Tom is the most unlucky person on YouTube I know, considering how many subscribers his channel has. Well, how would that make me unlucky? I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive, Lou Gehrig. The best way to store playmats is, for me, pants hangers. You buy pants hangers that hold pants and then just hang them in a closet. Works like a charm. Am I officiating the wedding? No, I'm giving the bride away. I offered to officiate the wedding, but no, I'm just giving the bride away. And then apparently running a game show, I found out last night, for the guests. Sure. How many people here are sad right now? You're wrong. It's all of us. Let's see here. Sorry. Do you have to wear anything special for the wedding? Well, I'm going to wear, I got myself a new suit. I haven't bought a new suit in a long time, so I have a nice new suit that I'm going to wear to the wedding. I haven't picked out the tie yet. It's like a very thoughtful process. I'm going to look through my closet like, what tie is me at a wedding? I know what tie I would wear to someone else's wedding, right? Like a serious tie I would. But to my daughter's wedding, I don't know yet. Tom, I should get a P.O. box. We actually were just talking about that. The problem is we would have to go and check the P.O. box all the time. You know, it's nice. I live in an HOA, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really, really bad things about an HOA, okay? All the rumors, all the things you hear about HOA, they're all true. But I don't know my package is stolen. That never happens. I occasionally hear about people's packages getting taken, but it doesn't happen where I'm at. Of course, being home all the time stops that too, but yeah. Let's see here. Going through. I don't do print and play. I don't like print and play. It's a lot of work and effort, and I just don't want to do it. I'm just not a very artistic-y guy. You have to say rude like Z. Rude. Is Rodney still on the Dice Tower? Rodney does not work for the Dice Tower. Rodney was a guest on the Dice Tower. We would like to have him back someday. I haven't even really approached him about it. We haven't really done anyone twice since we started having guests to our top 10s last year. Although Rodney has done some way in the past. We had him as a guest earlier. I don't think we did anyone twice. We had various people throughout the year, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. I liked it even better when we flew them in here. They were part of Board Game Breakfast, and they were, did the top 10, and then we played a game, and that was fun, but, we can't do that right now. But I enjoyed that. I don't understand the love for Coco, says David. It's a worse movie than a similar Book of Life, which is never talked about. Well, maybe we just like it. I just love Coco. Makes me cry. And I love the song, Remember Me. I have it. I like it that the song was able to be sung 2 different ways. I have it on 2 different playlists because of that. Any chance of me traveling to India? Well, if you mean post when we're able to travel again, I would love to go to India. There's not been a good reason to do so, and also costs. It seems that a lot of people ratings go from 5 to 10, and 7 is below average. That's why the reason I hate rating anything with number. Wow, no. I don't want to get into that. I like rating stuff with numbers. I think that's fun. I think it helps me qualify it. But you know what? That's how things get rated. So people take rating too seriously, frankly. But let's say we have a 1 to 10 scale, and people say, Tom, we looked at your games. In fact, let's look at them right now. So I can give you this information. So on Board Game Geek, we'll put my profile. And okay, so I've ranked 6,992 games, which is, I should rank more. But so we have 88 10s, 498 9s, 1,411 8s, 1916 7s, 1632 6s, 744 5s, 338 4s, 210 3s, 121 2s, 34 1s. So there definitely is more 7s than anything else, then 6s, then 8s, then 5s, then 9s, then 4s, 3s, 2s, 10s, 1s. Now, that tilts a little higher, but there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, I don't play every game. I play more bad games probably than any other human alive. That's my claim to fame, I suppose. But there are a lot of bad games that I won't even touch. I'll look at them and go, no. If I played every board game that came out over the course of the year, I might skew negative, actually, on my reviews. But I can look at a game and go, yeah, that's garbage. I'm not reviewing everything that comes out at Walmart, for example. There's just a lot of trashy games. So I can just skip those. Of the ones I play, I still tilt a little higher. But there's some other reasons for that. Because just naturally, I say, I like this game. I really like this one. I love this one. That's easy. That's 7, 8, 9. It's amazing. 10. It's tougher when you get, then I say 6 is okay. 5, I wanted to like it, but I didn't. 4, I don't like it. Well, what's a 3? I hate it, but not as much as I hate a 2. And then the 1, I mean, from 4 to 1, it's kind of, who knows. If it's 4, I don't like it. And 1s are for the truly dredges of society. I like having the number scale rating. People can complain about it, and it happens all the time, and I just don't mind. I do think there's weird things, like I know someone that you also know who refused to rate anything a 10. Why? They say because a 10's perfect and no game's perfect. Then your 9s are 10s. If that's the case, then your 9s are 10s. So I don't know. Whatever. I just rank games the way I like them. And I always tell people, because there's a board game geek scale, but it's really easy. 10 games, 7 means I like it. 8 means I really like it. 9 means I really, really, really like it. 10 means I really, 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 really like it. Just that seems to be easier for me. Oh, I'm finally getting the people talking about the 4K. Most people are saying no to 4K on YouTube. No, 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 no. Yeah, Steve says I always film in 4K for flexibility of cropping and such. And that's true. That's one of the reasons you can, because if you do that in 4K, then when you zoom in and people don't notice. And so people are definitely talking still about 4K. Well, I did ask you. It will happen naturally, to be honest. It will matter when it's easy. Until then, no. Sure, I get that, of course. Obviously, things are going to naturally get better in quality as time goes by. 4K matters for a travel vlog. Yeah, that's true. Like those nature scenes, they look really good in 4K. Special K is the best, says Devin. No, Special K is garbage. I do not understand how people like that. How can you like it? You're wrong! All right. Well, obviously the vast majority of people here don't want or care about 4K. Well, some people say they want it, but most people aren't saying that. Is it worth it if you get 4K? And most people end up selecting 1080 on YouTube anyway. Right. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm still amazed. And this is another thing that just blows my mind. I have arguments with my wife and my kids all the time about this. So it's like, I bought this really nice TV. Why are you sitting there watching TV on your phones? I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I old? And what's wrong with me? Why are people, like, they surf the internet on their phones? I'm like, but there's this laptop you can type and see, and why are you, like, looking at a small screen? I don't get it. Get off my lawn! Wow, I am surprised at the number of people talking about 4K. Editing software has gotten so much worse in the past 10 years, which used to take a click of a button. Now takes half hour loading a separate program. Oh, okay. I don't think so. That's not been the case for me. I started full-time telework in 2020 and now can keep up with all Dice Tower content. Has Dice Tower always produced so much content, or did it increase due to 2020 events? We put out slightly more content in 2019. Actually, the number of videos on the Dice Tower channel went down in 2020 compared to 2019 by, like, I don't know, maybe 100, I think. But we also added the Dice Tower Unboxings channel, where we moved those to another channel. So when you add those in, which is about 365, then we were higher than last year. But I'm not trying to do more videos. I want to do better videos and more engaging videos if we can. Ooh, that's a good one. Is there any game you played that changed or turned you around an IP? Like if you did not like Star Wars and playing a Star Wars games. Well, I never read The Reckoners until I heard about the game. I didn't play it, but I was like, well, if I'm going to play this, I'm going to go read it. I read The Batman Who Laughs because of that game. They didn't turn me around on that, though, I suppose. I'm trying to think of it like I didn't like. No, I mean, it's not like I didn't like something, but the game changed my mind on it. I don't even think that's possible, is it? Like, I don't like Battlestar Galactica, but once I played the game, now I like it. Did you grow up in Florida? I did not. I grew up in Pennsylvania. What's my favorite part about living here? I think it's a tie between the weather and the diversity. I love the different cultures. I like the Cuban culture. That's the strongest one input here. And I like that. But I love the weather. I don't know. I like anywhere I've ever lived, though. I mean, wherever we live, we found good things about it. So if I move somewhere else, I'll be like, oh, I like it. I don't know that, I mean, there's some places I don't want to go to. I don't want to go to Nebraska, out where my dad lives in the middle of nowhere, because I like people. I like crowds, and that would make me sad, as did the year of 2020. Alrighty, folks, I can see there's like a billion more comments, and I didn't get to them all. But hey, I'll be doing another Q&A next week, next Monday. So our Kickstarter starts in 8 days. I hope you come and join us for that. Either way, we got more content going up. Me and my daughters are doing another review tomorrow on Almanac. That's going to happen. And the marble races. Come back and join us for the most exciting marble races on the Dice Tower channel. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. See y'all later.